Retired Air Force General Neil McCasland was reported missing after he walked out of his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico on February 27th, and he hasn't been seen since. His background is interesting, to say the least. He once led research at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a base that has been closely linked to UFO theories. The mystery widened when we learned his former colleague, Monica Reza, also disappeared 9 months ago before him while she was hiking. So what do we know for certain? NewsNation special correspondent, investigative journalist Ross Coulthart joins us now with more information from Sydney, Australia, where my grandmother was from. So that's a nice little connector there. What do we know about the general's disappearance at this point?
Well, good evening, Katie. Well, one thing we don't even know for sure is that the general left the house of his own volition. He wasn't seen leaving the house. And indeed, as we now know, he left his tracking watch, he left his mobile phone, and he took a revolver and a holster, which is very unusual for somebody who was supposedly heading off to go trail walking. Nobody's seen him. He hasn't been seen now for exactly 3 weeks. He's literally disappeared off the face of the earth. And this week we had a major press conference, as you know, with the local sheriff, Bernalillo County Sheriff, and they've made it very clear they have no leads on the general's disappearance, which is quite extraordinary when you consider that there are so many homes these days that have Ring cameras in their front doors. People have been asked if they could provide that video to help the local police see if we can track the general's movements. There's no sign of him having left the family home. All we know is that 1 hour he was there with a repairman who saw him in the home, and when his wife came back a little over an hour later, he had disappeared.
Wow, and she doesn't know anything about that either. You said McCasland was said to be sympathetic to the idea of bringing public attention up to speed on UFOs. Do you think he was targeted for attempting to whistleblow, or do we not know enough about that at this point?
We just don't know enough. What we do know is the timing was interesting. It followed very closely the promise made by President Trump on Truth Social just a few weeks ago that he was going to move to declassify UAP files and any evidence of extraterrestrial engagement with this planet. And it's very interesting because we know from leaked emails that were ironically leaked by the Russian GRU to WikiLeaks in about 2018, we know that John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager at the time, was having conversations by email and in conference calls with General Neil McCasland, General Michael Carey from Space Command, and Richard Weiss from Lockheed Martin Skunk Works to discuss what appears to have been a plan by Hillary Clinton as a prospective new president to be a disclosure president. So yes, I don't think it's an idle speculation to speculate that there might be some connection, but at the moment, as his wife has pointed out, there's just no evidence to support that, and she's been at lengths to point out that there's been no change to his security clearance since 2013.
The county sheriff's department in New Mexico there recently said that they were looking into see if there's a possible connection between the disappearance of Monica Reza and the general, given the kind of work that they did and the strange disappearance in terms of the timing. Do we know anything about the disappearance of General McCasland's former colleague at this point?
We do know that Monica Reza disappeared in highly unusual circumstances in the Angeles Mountains in California in June of 2025, over just about a year ago. And the circumstances are very unusual. She was about 30 feet behind one of her colleagues whom she was hiking with. He turned, looked at her. She gave a wave to say she was absolutely fine. He turned a few moments later and she had completely disappeared. And when he went back to check, there was no sign of her. What adds to the intrigue with the disappearance of Ms. Reza is that while the search was still going on, while helicopters were in the air and search and rescue parties were still searching for her, someone unknown posted a death notice announcing that she died on the first day of her disappearance. There never has been any formal obituary, no formal death certificate, because Monica Reza's body has never been found, and there's no evidence at all on who provided that death notice. It's quite sinister and unusual.
There's some strange stuff happening in the southwestern U.S. at this time, to say the least, whether it's Arizona with Nancy Guthrie or in New Mexico. Ross Coulthart, you are a legend. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.